Elimination game as we head into the lower bracket. Neither one of these teams were hoping to be here this early. I wasn't expecting AGO to be here this early personally, but they were of course knocked down by FDW, a team that I am surprised is still as good as it is.
Yeah, an interesting story with FTW, right? I mean, small-time organization from the Iberian region, which actually kind of loops me into part of my bias for this game. It's not just about Volt. If it really came down to it, their stand-in, Adam S, was also somebody that we could have maybe looked at from the Iberian scene, but he's Romanian, but we'll touch upon him later. fnatic Rising on the
Pepsor is playing
T-side attack, and yes, Pepsor is indeed playing, so, you know, this does actually change the tone a bit, because we were talking about stars missing. He's right.
Well, maybe your prediction becomes a bit more accurate, just like Pepsor's first bullet seems to be. Jedker brought down low, looking to fight back, and his teammates are trying to distract, the distance being inevitably closed down. Wolfie and Volt coming through with some big ones, but Le Mans will not be one to shy back either. Bomb faked out on the tap just in case there is a grenade. Snatchy won't need it. He's got his own punches to do the work for him.
Yeah, this 2-on-2 has come to a grinding halt. They're trying to make sure that they don't make many mistakes. Volt, what a shot. Two bullets. All that's needed to finish off Le Mans, and now it needs Snatchy, 5 HP, a 1-on-2, and without real chances at this. If he had utility, if he had a kit, it might be more feasible, but fnatic Rising aren't going to move without being prompted.
A nice little tap at the very end. fnatic Rising completely overrunning that B-bomb side. That was a very smooth execution going into the game. I wasn't expecting that many headshots, I'll be honest.
Yeah, nice and snappy from the young buck. You know, we could talk about Volt a little bit now. Just the fact that he was one of these guys that like entered the UK scene, and there's been a few over time that have been about 16, 17 that look like they've got super sharp aim, and they don't all make it. And I wasn't even 100% certain that Volt would make it in the end, but the Academy Circuit is exactly where you can prove that you've got what it takes. And he was always touted as somebody that could eventually take that next step up. Don't think he had as much hype as, you know, someone like Mezzi, who's obviously part of the main roster now, but really on the right track. And so are fnatic Rising. Pistol taken. Now as well playing a very slow default against the pistol buy-in here from AGO, but Maze is found and isolated, and they're not ready whatsoever for the constant re-aggression. There's only Wolfie that remains, but they've got their hands on an AK here on Furlan.
Surely they'll stop pressing W, right? Really not. Furlan's AK will be taken away from them. Wolfie is able to cover it off, but that is so many casualties already suffered, although this should still be a comfortable round recovery to come through. Jedka's looking for the AK. Where's it gone to? Oh no, is it off the map? Aye, that would be unfortunate. He's just... Never mind, apparently that's unfortunate. That's just what he wants to do.
Like, well, if I couldn't find that first AK and made this easier, I'm gonna make sure that you can't get your hands on AKs either.
I mean, in all fairness, they do get 3 kills with basically a no-buy, and going into the next one, they will somehow be the CT side that has more money despite having lost around. That's never before heard of.
Yeah, no, this is really poor looking from fnatic. I mean, the fact that there was no recognition as well that there was going to be any sort of re-aggression. They were so concerned about the potential crunch from lane as well. Yeah, really difficult situation to deal with. And majority A1S users. Always nice to sort of touch base with how the pros are feeling. AGO, extra money for an extra flash.
Well, Snatchy's been tagged up, but that's where... Welcome back to the A1S. Volt, sorry, buddy. I'm pretty sure Vertigo is going to be one of the maps where it still is the prevalent rifle beyond maybe 1 or 2 specific points.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Flashes are great.
And Furlan's going to be taking advantage of them. Pepsor hoping to find another one. Furlan is actually taken down by a staggered Galil burst. Not something you see every day. And Maze set up for an MP5. I don't know, we're seeing a lot of things we don't see every day.
Yeah, that's not exactly a common buy, but still, this is on here for AGO. No kits, but they've got at least the resources on the players that they can throw at the problem. They're running straight through the smoke, and they find 2 kills instantly. Jedker and Snatchy, all that remain, but Maze sitting around the box in which that is impenetrable, just waiting for that smoke to bloom. Jedker couldn't get eyes on, and a 1v1 for Maze that has to rely on a Jedker 10-second defuse. He doesn't have time to do this. Even if he wanted to try and pull this round back for his squad, Maze has done enough. 3 kills and 3 rounds for fnatic Rising.
That's so messy on the bomb side itself. When Wolfie's next to Generator, he throws his Galil away in an effort to pick up the M4, but it's a bit further than he thought. So he spends like a whole 3 seconds where he's unable to get the M4, reposition, get his aim in the right place. He still gets a kill despite all of that. That could have been a lot easier for fnatic Rising. But in all fairness, you can say that about the previous round as well. At the end of the day, the fact is they're 3-0 up and they're fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not pretty rounds. That's the truth. fnatic Rising can compose themselves, or whether AGO will be able to make use of the extra chaos at the start of this game. Very close rounds.
Oh. Bloody feet, bloody shoes, and bloody hell, that's an annoying one-way.
One way to do it. Really nicely done here from Banjo.
Much cleaner this time over. Should be just a 4 players, maybe even 5 kept alive. Maze on that A4 is looking pretty damn hot with it. Seems like someone's been hitting the firing ranges.
Looking nice and sweet. One of the weird things about fnatic Rising is that they don't actually have like 5 players, I think, actually a part of this roster.
Theoretically.
Yeah, I don't think there's been official signings, but there might be some, you know, something happening behind the scenes in that regard.
Like, does someone just hand them a stack of money underneath the table? GTA style? Thanks for the good game up against AGO. Maze. Snatchy, though. He's got his AWP out, and that's always a good sign for AGO.
Yeah, I think the idea is that they've been trialing Wolfie. My impression, understanding. Like you said, but somebody that we were looking at as a prospect. And so the tier 2 circuit, especially when they were under the Lingby Vikings. You know, like Static is the same technically, but I feel like that period was a little worse for him.
Snatchy's going to be able to get aggressive behind it. He's caught it timing. He's managed to circle around the corner. Le Mans good for the first, and by the time Snatchy's taken the initial line of sight, he's already lost his man, or rather lost his men, because PHI and Le Mans have taken them down. The bomb site is where they turn their attention to now. They need to get a clean entry, and Ferlin's position is going to make that surely very annoying to even try and do. So he's playing from the back of concrete, and yeah, that's where he gets the first steal, rather, not concrete.
Yep. That 1 kill from Furlan basically secures it, but the aggro push in the mid-round there from AGO, very disruptive. fnatic Rising were not expecting that whatsoever. I'm even a little caught off guard, you know, I'm getting wrapped up in the Wolfie journey. Good first round to find. Question is, do we see AGO rely on now these mid-round aggressive maneuvers, or are they actually going to be more comfortable with how they approach the late round? You know, by throwing in that one aggressive move, they're going to slow things down even further for fnatic, just to make sure they don't get caught out by something like that again. Well, instilling a bit of fear in them.
Generally, some pretty good nights coming out overall. I say that right as we see another one. Banjo. Not too happy about this at all.
Youngest player we've got on the fnatic Rising squad.
A lot of utility used up in mid. Almost as if someone's throwing a fake. Obviously, Pepstar is trying to make sure more than anything else they have to allocate some resources from the CT side and maybe just make sure there's no one who could have got him lurking across. Snatchy finds himself the double. Very quick on the trigger. He generally is such a good opera on Vertigo in particular. It's one of his specialties for me and always has been. Now he's gone and found the third and the fourth. Yeah, this is why I wasn't too sure about fnatic picking up Vertigo against AGO as well, because you can see the firepower that these guys can pack when they're relatively uncontested utility-wise.
I mean, they're just fully unexpecting of the fact that Snatchy is out in the open fighting a ramp with basically no utility that's down. You know, I think they have like this one smoke on the entrance to orange, and to have the AWP just super hyper exposed like that. You know, a flash would have likely pushed them off, but fnatic were just so unready for Snatchy to disrespect them like that. A little 4K from our Polish AWPer. I just do find it fun and interesting to see players that start a part of their career with a squad, then venture off and then come back. I think in the Portuguese or in the
Polish.
No, sorry, Brazilian scene. I mean, if you look at say Team One, you know, we've had that with Malbs to a certain degree, but the Polish scene has done a lot of shuffling between many of the Polish squads.
And the Polish scene is certainly an interesting deck of cards.
Yeah.
Oh, Snatchy shuffling around his positions a few times as well, and I think the audio has been given over. Furlan realized that's about as hopeful of a run boost as you've seen. Like, that's a participation trophy run boost if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, they didn't even do the run boost. They just did a boost with one of them running.
Yeah, you know, you'll be something one day, kid, when you grow up. Something.
I think that was just an opportunity to maybe practice something that they've been trying to line up properly on their defaults, just on pistols, right? Kind of a throwaway.
I would really hope that that's not something they've been practicing for, Michael.
No, I mean, it's something that they're maybe just like, oh, yeah, we know people do this on B-side defaults. I know I've seen teams do it, so we'll just give it a shot, you know? Like, it's a round that's fairly disarming, just on pistols. You know, the AWP's there. Use case feels good. But yeah, pretty poor effort, all in all.
I'm just imagining that they've practiced for like 4 days for that one, and now they've killed it.
That's how it looks.
Oh, PHR catches out the feet of Volt from wrong. Lemon is fully blinded out, and he's caught out as well. One of the first few times we've actually had fnatic Rising getting an advantage out in alley or ramp. So how will they work off of it is still the question. Let's not forget AGO. Hot few rounds they've had, but not quite in the lead yet.
Very low on utility to take over either of these bomb sites. No smokes will be available. It has to be all about trading and spacing. That's why you're seeing them now group themselves up towards the safe site. They found that one kill earlier on and are hoping to capitalize on it. But AGO have a read. They're bringing all of their players gravitating over towards the safe site. Snatchy can go 1-for-1, but Wolfie's found the double that they need to break in. Jedker inside the site, but again, trades keep coming back and forth here for fnatic Rising. And Banjo's on this late lurk to try and activate and find the backstab. Furlan's given up his ground over at B, but if they can grab this bomb, they can actually reel themselves back, and that's exactly the plan. They're trying to hightail it back to B.
And Furlan should just be caught off with a backstab here regardless. Here's Banjo looking around, and that should have been as much of a freebie as you can imagine, but Furlan given a real shot at it. Banjo wins the deal regardless, but man, you should not be missing out on those ones. Can be. Maybe just wasn't quite expecting him to cross there and then, but even so, fnatic line there for fifth.
Yeah, a little difficult sometimes to catch somebody with their knife out crossing a pretty tight angle. It's the only real caveat, but yeah, the real chance for Furlan to have someone come away with that. And he's still decent enough here for AGO going into a follow-up round, but wouldn't be ideal buys. Back-to-back successes here for fnatic Rising if they want to break them. We're seeing people implement this smoke on ramp a little bit more frequently. This little one-way that you can throw underneath the wood makes for an interesting elevation and makes it very difficult for the CTs to spot you. Pretty on point, but spam right back onto PHR. Damage done. Bolt above the smoke will catch them on the reload, so Le Mans cannot fall back. Another clean opener here for fnatic Rising.
That has generally been what's decided it. whether they can get the opener, force AGO into a more awkward position or not. I think they've got a pretty high conversion rate so far for every single round. They've got a clean, untraded entry. DHR catches out Maze. Some good shots being fired in. Maze has been taken down. That's a way to start getting back into things. Pepsol's also been peppered up while he tries some plants a bomb. BHR's there to pick things up from there. And a 4-on-3. They're still concerned about him. Lurk to come in from mid, although that one is never going to make it there. Fnatic's got all their players clustered around the A-bomb site, playing for this afterplant. Wolfie up at the ready, and it needs to do some good work. He takes smoke down. Wolfie's got the first one before it actually blooms, and this is where he's gone and get himself second as well. Third on the way, and Wolfie is trying to replicate what Snatchy's been having in success. Makes it 4. 12-6 for him. Now he's been having a grand time.
Yeah, I mean, really solid stuff there from Wolfie. We've seen how many times we have AWPers in a post plant in that exact position, and if you don't have a Molotov or something that can really section that player out, it can be so difficult to find that trade instantly. Wolfie just keeps on snapping to player after player with that AWP and punishing the lack of smokes, lack of util. 3-6, though, it's a little resurgence here for AGO, but this will be their last real chance before having to eco. Fnatic Rising can continue to get distance. Great kill for Furlan, just spotting the feet of Banjo, trying to cross safely, and that little 2-tap made to try and help mask that peak was perfect.
Love it. Absolutely love it. What a way to find a 5v3 initially. Wow.
Uh-oh.
I mean, not ideal, but it's a 1-for-1 and you're in a 4v2. All's well that ends well, I guess.
Yeah, smoke on the bottom side of short faded just as that kill came in, so a little fortunate, I think, for the trading players here for AGO, but nice take of the territory here for PHR, and it does leave Maze alone. 1-on-4, just investigating the A side. Nice shooting onto PHR. It seemed like he was all too ready for that, so concerned about short, but snapping the heads. His options are going to be fairly limited, but the A bomb site, all in all, will only have one player he has to beat past if he clears sandbags. That's the big if, and Leman doesn't get timinged. Maze doesn't somehow manage his way through the labyrinth.
Fnatic Rising also without too much cash to work with. Let's not forget that. AGO have got their first real chance of actually equalizing things and maybe even giving it a run for 8. Oof, dare I say 9 rounds on the CT side, but they need to start capitalizing on a few more gun rounds without getting those instant early double kill entries into a round on the CT side. That seems to be one of the less reliable formulae. You know, they have managed to get that in 3 rounds so far, I believe.
It's sometimes so staggering to look back at many of the players we have on this AGO roster. Just think, you know, at one point or another, almost all of them were touted as like young up-and-coming players, and now we're looking at like mid-20s. And you know that? I'm in my mid-20s. I mean, late 20s now. Ugh, God, it hurts.
You disgust me, old man.
You're
I'm in my late 20s in like a month, so...
Yeah, you're there soon.
Well, Flashbang in is going to be able to catch off one, and that's, well, I say they can't find double kills in the start of every round. How about a triple?
Yeah, I mean, well-placed push on the B-side aggression, but then also Snatchy continues to find some impact with that AWP, especially on that A-bomb site. A nice little mix-up here from AGO. One of the advantages you will have of being a team with certain pieces that have been around for so long, especially under one organization, you've probably just built up a major set of strats. You know, some of them might be outdated, but you can always just throw one into the mix. I'm not saying that this particular push is outdated.
I think one of the most fun things for me, Michael, is whenever I look at any ESL Challenger League season, because obviously we've got such a strong Polish tier 2 base, I always have a fun time looking at how many players we thought would, like, yeah, man, this guy's definitely going to be in VP when one of their players retires.
Yeah.
And it's almost always enough to just make like a full roster. The sad thing is now I think those players are also starting to hang up the mouse a bit because we've only got 3 this season. There's been a lot more newer Polish players have been getting some shine over 9. They've been doing a fantastic job. Obviously, Pamita and Gen team have got a lot of comparatively newer players as well. So, yeah, man, this Polish scene has got a long history and a lot of players.
Mm-hmm. Fnatic Rising made their choice. Those 3 players at the start of the round. Yeah, we're just gonna save.
Strange decision as far as the economic stabilization is concerned. You're not going to be having it in the round after the next one, so you're maybe even looking to force buy again into this one behind the AK. If not, are you willing to doom your economy for a while longer?
Now they shall be cannon fodder for Wolfie's hero AK.
Would have been nice if you said it's like sheep, something, because he's a Wolfie. No? Alright.
Why would a wolf use sheep to protect itself? It would just eat the sheep.
He would eat them up. That's the point. AGO is going to be the sheep. He's going to eat the sheep.
Surely you would have called AGO the sheep if Wolfie had a great... Like, I just...
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were saying... For some reason, I just thought you were saying AGO is cannon fodder. Never mind.
No. Wolfie is protecting himself with pups.
Okay. Wow. You're about to go kill pups now. Michael, wow.
I mean, I haven't said... that's not what I said.
Well, the Hawks of AGO have been able to find many around so far.
Like, would you punch a baby? I wouldn't. So...
Whose baby?
Oh, well, okay. We're entering into weird territory now. This 1 AK, this 1 MAC-10 are all that stand remaining here for Fnatic Rising on those buys, and Wolfie dies just as soon as the round gets started. You didn't want to sit through 3 entries at the start of the round. Well, you've got it again.
Why not make it 5, man? Minute and 37 in the round's pretty much fully cleaned up. Fnatic Rising, I hope they've taken these past few rounds to sit down and think about what this one's going to look like, because it's about to be economically awkward.
Three rounds remain here for this half. Could very well see AGO come back into this lead and hold on to maybe even an 8 or a 9. They've been looking very solid in the way that they're mixing things up, and especially the attacks over towards the B-bomb side have been very successful. Getting aggro down those stairs. Nades are not going to hit their mark. Rising are trying to close that gap though around the Molotovs. The A-bomb site is weaker as of right now because of the early resources they're committing to B, but Fnatic are going to be none the wiser so far.
Now, the thing is that Satch has just been such a menace so many times over at this point that you can't even feel safe going up the A ramp without expending basically every piece of utility you've got. PHR now much closer angle, not really able to do too much there. Jedka's the one to get the first. Snatchy's made his way into the site, and that's where, from Ali, he wants to get involved. Berlin swing out, gives him a bit more space, but only just a bit. So 2-on-2, good to bring it back to a 2v1. Wolfie trades. Snatchy's over aggression punished as he does not wait for Lemon. A one-on-one there where Wolfie does have a real chance, even if he's got no pups nor babies to be punched or die for him.
Could be another 4K here for Wolfie, and he's trying to play a wrapping game. Lemon has no idea which way he's repositioned, but the likeliness is he's going to try and get eyes on that prize real soon. Wolfie finds perfect timing. Lemon just jumps up, and that's another 4K where it is imperative he wins out. Fnatic Rising up to 7, and they are close now as well to toppling the economy of AGO once again.
In all fairness, I think that if AGO just saves maybe 2 weapons, they should be fine because there's only 1 round left. But the fact that they do bring it on a swing back from a very awkward position of their own, that's definitely impressive. Wolfie is honored with his own AWP. The question is, what can he get done with it? Molotov to try and contest the continual deep B aggression that they have been going for.
Falling by Pepsor. Oh, good tag, but the damage is reciprocated. It wouldn't finish off the job either. Only 1 damage done to PHR after the fact. We're doing a lot of these slow ramp progress attacks here for Fnatic Rising. You look at how AGO are approaching this one. 4 players in proximity.
That'd be some real good timing. The flash from Snatchy blinds his own teammate Jedka instead. So one setup for it. Snatchy picks up another Q, Sing safe in the advantage, and Wolfie wasn't feeling comfortable enough to take a more forward position where he can maybe get slightly more involved. He'll be kept for the retake if they can get that far. Banjo is at the very least going to guarantee a bomb plant. Pepso, with the last bit of utility they had left, is going to try scaling up. Finds BHR in route. There isn't a flank coming in, so Wolfie will have an easier time covering this off as well. Snatchy's head's been removed from the rest of his body. And Jedka, well, he's just a recipient of a nice flick from Wolfie. 8th round secured from Fnatic Rising.
Really good, well done there from Pepsor. It's so crucial that he gets that entry kill onto the bomb site, but then also... Oh, sorry, it's from Banjo. Did I say Pepsor? I think I might have done. Yeah, Banjo just getting that entry makes a world of a difference, and then just playing so close that as soon as he hears that pin of the grenade on the heaven position, just ready to spring as soon as that leaves his hands. And this is exactly what he had to do on that assignment, especially with them being demolished on the A play once again. Through the smoke.
Self flashes.
Wow.
All catches that perfect timing as well. Right as Snatchy ends up flashing himself with a slightly misthrown grenade.
Even if that wasn't the case, he was not prepared whatsoever. He didn't have his gun out.
Wow, he was prepared. Jedka is going to end up being able to find 2 and makes it slightly more doable, if not for the fact that he's got another smoke in his hand. Utility's not been AGO's friends in this round or the previous. PHR is hoping that he can come through despite all the trials and tribulations they have had to face. Wolfie, please don't fall off while you're blind.
Issue so far, smoke fading and Banjo will stay close. PHR, oh my goodness. That had to have been a fright. 1 sound cue, and that will be it. 9-6 here for Fnatic Rising. We'll see how things turn out after the break.
We've had some real action so far, and a lot of it has been coming out from the hands of Fnatic Rising. Although I will say, the way AGO gets entries, I'm looking forward to what they have on their T side. On T time, and with me as always, Michael Ubi Cassidy, Jedka on the Glock, trying to find himself the first one, unable to get the instant shot.
4 players stacked into that A bomb site with the Fnatic Rising defense, and so a gap can be found if they're fast enough. AGO making their way up the ladder and trying to divert into middle. Right now, Banjo will be hazarding a bit of information. We'll have Pepsor alongside him as well, but they're trying to run distraction in some capacity towards this A site still, while also maintaining a bit of control in mid. They are going to try and crunch fast. That con smoke that they throw from spawn is going to be disruptive because the A players cannot help out. They can wrap through spawn.
Pepsor unable to find the quick taps he was looking for. The patience is not paid off on neither in the second attempt. Third over, Pepsor finally gets one, but it's Banjo who's covering him off and making sure he's getting opportunity after opportunity to frag out Volt. Steals one, Furlan steals two. Not quite in the way you thought it would be, but at the end of it all, Fnatic Rising find themselves up to 10.
I mean, really cool strat there from AGO, all things considered. You know, the deep smoke, the flashes, they take over spawn control. They actually get a lot of progress into that bomb site, but then they just cannot lock down these shots. They're struggling to trade the players within the bomb sites, and they just lose their numbers too quick. Positionally, it looked like they actually had made a better call than what Fnatic Rising were really prepped for, but great adaptation from the defense. I wonder how many of these players have transitioned to the M4A4, considering the amount of FAMASs we see invested into this second round. It's only Wolfie. It's only A1S.
You're a conspiracy theorist. They just wanted more utility.
I mean, that is also probably part of the conversation.
I would hate it if they had 3 people in the A4 though on Vertigo. I just feel like this is one of the few maps where I just do not. There aren't that many long-range fights anyway, and there's so many smokes down.
Yep. I can agree.
Apparently so is the FAMAS. Especially when Volt's using it. Triple kill with the FAMAS, not something you say every day. Wolfie, 21 and 8 though. God damn, it hits you real hard when you see it on your screen like that.
And doing it both with a rifle and an AWP, which is been part of the story.
You said it was on trial? I think he's passing that trial. It's more like Fnatic Rising are the ones on trial for him.
I'll have you know, this team, they won the We Play Academy League, I'm pretty sure. Season 5, they?
Wasn't that OG?
Nope. Untrue. Oh, an entry, boost up, and they find another kill as well over on the A-ramp fights, and they are not done there. Pepsor trapped in that corner, and no help was coming to him, but damage has been done to these AGO players, so significant man advantage, sure, but these duels are not exactly fair if they decide to go 1-for-1. They will split 1-and-1 to each site.
Both of them hoping to find themselves a nice little opportunity to collect upon a big multi.
They respect this move from AGO as well, just slowing down significantly. If Fnatic Rising decide to stack one of these bomb sites, there's 50% chance they select the right site to later then attack themselves. Or if they're still split 1-on-1, it'll just add extra paranoia.
I mean, that 50% chance is now coin flipped onto the head, and Wolfie, I don't know, I think he might have been spotted over there as he started to move over. Now he definitely has been. Will they expect a second player in the vicinity? Wolfie's generally been that A-side player. Maze, is he going to be able to find anything here? Just the one, make it 2, and as he's trying to turn off to the side, it is PHR to cover him off. So good damage dealt to the AGO economy, but CTs are never going to be happy with that one. The T side still get away with the round.
Yeah, very fast trade there from PHR. You can see how much it caught Volt out, or Maze out, sorry. It's very strange. I get those two confused for no apparent reason.
I also did check, and you're right, they did win Season 5, but they came 8th in Season 6, so, you know.
Yeah, well, you can't win all the time.
You'd hope so.
look at the major, for example.
Yeah, indeed. Well, there goes Snatchy. He was running a lot on ramp when he had the AWP. This is always one of the critiques of Snatchy about him on the T side. Never really quite the same player. Furlan will keep it somewhat even if he has to give up most of his life in exchange.
That was almost a little awkward there. Flash coming in just as he spots out Furlan, but the adjustment is quick. One player down here on the AGO side. They will try it 3-on-4, and they will attempt to attack this B side of the map. Andrew does have reinforcements coming his way, and that will be a fresh smoke in a ramp that are into the stairs. That doesn't really change too much about how they scale in. They'll have to maybe jump around it just so they don't obscure their vision. Likely they'll wait that out before deploying utility themselves.
Gotta say, Michael, Fnatic Rising looking a lot better than I thought they would when I made my prediction. And it's not even been necessarily because of Pepsar. And that's not a great. Pepsar goes ahead and finds one. In the meanwhile, Lemon reclaims some ground back in... Ooh. Back in mid. Got a slight heart attack for a second. Thought Jedker was falling off, but instead he goes back, recovers the bomb. Shouldn't really matter. There's only 10 seconds left on the clock. Even if he wants to sprint his way back over to the other side, it doesn't look like it's going to be a priority.
Yeah, save called here by AGO. Missed Molly really didn't help. One of the paths they had to take to actually get into the B-bomb site that they ended up mollying out. So, yeah, Fnatic Rising looking pretty solid. And hey, I won't pretend like I thought the game would be clean in some of the rounds that the Fnatic Rising had. I know that when I've seen them competing against the academy teams, they definitely do look like they, especially it does feel certain days are just way better than others.
Yep. I mean, look,
they have great mechanical players. I don't think that's a big question, but sometimes the team cohesion, even in the rounds that we've seen on this particular map against AGO, you know, some of the flash timings feel like they might be a little bit off in terms of communication.
Even so, with Wolfie, I have to say, I mean, the team has not looked this good since they had Depression. The Dutch player.
Mm-hmm.
With whom they won the Season 5. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm aware. We've had many discussions about Depression.
Indeed.
The mental state.
Oh. Okay.
Well, no, actually, that's just untrue, but I just thought I'd flip that one on its head real quick.
Well, force play coming out from the AGO boys. They don't want to let their economy fall by the wayside. When Le Mans hitting shots like that, then you're surely going to be having some rifles to pick up pretty soon. Volt's spam damage is not particularly substantial. Jetka's feeling slightly worse for it, but Verlan just going to continue on. Shot to the head, and Wolfie is just immediately removed from the server.
Trying to catch them on the fullback, and unsuccessful. Only one kill found. A4 will do a few bullets rattling off downrange and do a little bit of tag damage, but AGO again are looking to stop and simply sit. Wait for these remaining two players to make their move. Whether they double up or split between bomb sites, this is what AGO wants. Fnatic Rising are going to make the right call again. You're going to end up stacking this B bomb site with the remaining two players, and AGO are headed that direction.
Right call or not, they still have to execute on top of it.
Bomb's going back over towards A. Furlan's recognized how silent it is over at that A bomb site. Not a single soul peering into him.
How annoying is that to play up against?
They're still throwing fakes, even though it's a 4-on-2. Thing is, if Fnatic Rising just decide to save and sit on this A site, you know, maybe really hold passive positions, 15 seconds if that bomb was thrown into the air, it could have made things a little bit more awkward, but not to be. That's all a fantasy land. An 8th round here for AGO. Stormbinder just hoping to save, and I think they'll be allowed to do so. Don't be afraid.
Yep.
Banjo is nowhere near the T's. It's the one weird part of the minimap where it looks like he's sitting on top of him.
Well, we've done a lot of cool stuff with custom HUDs, but sometimes it's just CSGO, okay?
Good kills to find at the start of the round, especially on the A side attack, and it is quite cool to have them as well just be a team that is so willing to slow things down. I know that when we look at teams within the ESL Challenger League across many divisions, you can have a very high tendency to just simply get kills, run with the momentum, and that can lead to a lot of mistakes when it comes to actually taking the bomb site. Sometimes it is a bit of a flow state that you want to capitalize on. Vertigo is one of the few maps that I think simply changing the tempo and stopping has always been a part of the meta for it, and it's just a part of the play style. Whereas you're maybe looking at like a nuke or an inferno where you really just want to capitalize on maybe a small gap in the rotations, because the route you take as a T side is a little bit convoluted. You know, you're kind of serpentining out of A ramp or up short on A, or you're going up the staircase on B, and it's a bit of a long way round. That slows you down enough that rotates can usually get there in time, so just want to make sure that you account for every possibility and you're sitting inside of your comfort zone. That seems to be exactly what AGO are doing.
Well, definitely a tendency in the Challenger League that's been interesting to take note of. I think might have some more to add to that later on, because right now the B-bomb site was, generally speaking, a place for success for AGO. They've found many double, triple entries here. Now they found a double nade as well. Banjo unhappy about that one.
Until he's dead, they won't confirm that damage.
Well, his scout will need to be finding out some good shots here. Obviously, it was fantastic with the AWP over there on the other side of the map. Bold is good for the first two, and Wolfie's yet to reveal himself, although I think they might have heard him scoping above them at this point.
So they're keeping track of the money so much so that they know it's a scout and not an AWP. Will the scoping scare them away? Not sure if that was the reason, but they are going B.
And they're going to be given a chance to discover Banjo's low HP over here at the very least, and as they start to take the peek forward, they're even setting up for the full boost up. Banjo will be able to spot out the player. Jedka will find the kill courtesy of the earlier grenade. So now, back to a 3-on-3, and the full collapse on the B-bomb site is nigh. Pepso, the only one here to try and defend. He's been brought down low and immediately falls as Jedka will reroute around the generator, giving himself more space to play with a grenade to keep Maze at bay. And he's taken a few steps further on, might have just said goodbye to his own life, and Wolfie's scout has become painfully obvious, painfully, to the Fnatic Rising side, who are going to have to save it now.
Yeah, saving, and I think just going over towards ramp might be a good idea for them to even get that scout out of his hands. I feel like there might even be more value in just picking up the FAMAS, just in terms of versatility of weaponry. But AGO are not going to go hunting. They want to establish a nice foundation for them to rely upon in later rounds should Fnatic Rising start to answer back. Another great call here from AGO so far in these mid-round decisions. They are grouping up with the right numbers, finding the right entries late in rounds, and Fnatic Rising are falling by the wayside. Wolf, in fact, keeps his scout. So
interesting. I think one of the things that, to just go back to your earlier point, Michael, the ESL Challenger, obviously a lot of teams being a bit more willing to take fights. Part of that has got to be the fact that we're seeing more A, international rosters, and then B, rosters from regions that were generally historically underrepresented. Like you've obviously got Sinners from the Czech Republic and Slovakian region and whatnot as well. You've obviously got a couple more teams from the Iberian region coming into play than we've maybe seen historically. Yeah,
B&E, Kosovo, right? So
yeah,
that kind of tier or caliber of teams.
Those are definitely some teams who, when you don't have the veterans, you've got the aim.
Done. Wolfie's rattling off many a bullet, and well, Volt will be punished for his sins. Fire for shot, and it's like, yeah, I want to back off. Volt got the memo a little late.
All of his counters go about to be given some action. Didn't really get anything all of the previous round, and well, this time over, he smoked off, tries to take the aggressive angle. The USB even gets enough damaging. There are 3 players within one-shot territory. Wolfie, if there's ever a time to perform, that would have been it. Instead, he steps down from the podium, and it will be AGO to take the stage.
Yeah, Lamont as well was covering the flank where Maze was trying to get in behind with the recovered M4 from the previous round, but not to be. AGO are dotting all of their I's, and on this T side are crossing the Fnatic Rising boys. 12-10. They are into double digits and within touching distance of tying things up. I'm out called. I am suspicious. Fnatic Rising have called it.
We've seen quite a few timeouts so far. I don't know how many of them have been tactical and by whom.
I know in some of the earlier rounds, there were a couple AGO timeouts.
But Fnatic have looked very... One of the things I will say, they've been looked really awkward with how they've handled their money across both halves.
We talk about that save on
T side, yeah. Now you're looking at a couple of these rounds right here, not going for the attempts to try and maybe just keep your money in a better place so Wolfie can have an AWP as well. Because if you're going to prioritize the scout, then clearly he wants to be on a long-range rifle.
That's the truth. Yeah, certainly an interesting angle to think about it. Certainly errors in the utility department for both of these teams so far.
Fun flashbang.
One that blinds his teammate, funnily.
That's what makes it so fun, Michael.
Fun for all ages.
I'm blind. Fun for all sides as well, apparently.
Well, waiting out the early resources of Fnatic Rising, they are down to just a couple smokes, a trio of smokes, rather, on the CT side. They are not meeting much resistance in the areas that they're deciding to probe for information. Nothing middle, no deep A main presence. So this will be one of the vacuum rounds to look at here for AGO, where they simply make a call off of how silent things have been. Fnatic Rising are playing within the sites. They've been punished for some of the aggressive maneuvers. I'm taking ramp late, but 30 seconds. AGO are grouping up towards this B bomb site, trying to establish this double boost quick.
It's going to be such a difficult timing for them to actually scale onto a bomb site. So far, they've been good about getting some early entries. Now that flashbang won't even be catching out the solitary player on the side. Instead, it's Banjo and Pepstar to fall. Even Jedka following up for another one. Maze to go down. It's just a lack of defense from the Anchors. They just fall apart one by one, and despite the awkward timing windows, it's still all left down to Vault. Good for 2. Can he get that number doubled up? Seems unlikely. Furlan's positioning is also just oh so incredibly safe, and Vault are now, I mean, smoke down from PHR. He's able to back off as well to more safety. Vault will go back and maybe even save this M4.
Yeah, that's the decision. No kit available on him or any of the players within the bomb site. Money wasn't in a great spot to have all the utility and buy that kit as well. So as much as he would have liked to, no HP to trade anything out either. It would have had to be super crisp. But again, these explosions onto the right sites here for AGO. I mean, the B bomb site has been the result and has been the finish for the Polish squad so far in some sort of dominance in the rifle rounds. Especially when they've slowed things down, they felt comfortable to attack that side. And yeah, right now it's looking like Banjo, Pepsor, the sort of close responders towards that B site are struggling to meet the aggression that AGO are offering up. I mean, great entries from Jedker as well. He did, I think, about 280 damage with the M4 A1S when he decided to go for those entries. Just kept hitting head after head. The bodies are stacking up here for Fnatic Rising without a whole lot of results to show. Wow, super fast. They know they're up against pistols, perhaps.
They surely didn't know what the economy. If this is the sort of play they're making over towards the B-bomb side, the amount of times they've ever been able to successfully punish fnatic Rising for similar plays, yeah, they know.
Fun interaction that. Molotov dropped on the other side of the wood, and Snatchy still gets tagged by the flames.
Wood is flammable, and apparently so is Snatchy's aim, because it is very easy to drive.
Row. Birdman. Gotta fly away. Or not. Bird of prey, perhaps.
Wasn't Birdman a very strange movie as well?
I mean, probably.
Sounds like it. At the very least, Volt goes ahead and finds himself a few more kills. Now, with an AK recovered, he's got only one thing on his mind. The next round, because this one is going to be very difficult to try and clutch away. No kit. None of his teammates had obviously bought one in the full save either, and although he's been good about dealing damage to the AGO, which puts them in a good position to at the very least try and move through in the next few rounds to dismantle the T-side economy. The problem is, T-side still, before they bought, were sitting on 9k apiece.
Yeah, Volt was trying to win that wholeheartedly because they have a buy coming up, so making sure that the money is sort of stabilized, and if he could pull off a 1v4, then sure, he would happily take it.
Quick thing to keep in mind, Wolfie's gone from, I believe, being 21-8 to 22-14.
And now he finally has an AWP to work with on the CT side.
Hope that's all he needed. The price have been needing him for sure. Jedka and Snatchy entry side by side. Jedka's just been such a fantastic prospect. One of the ones who, also along with Hades, a lot of attention was given over to him back in the Wisla Krakow days. And Ferlin, well, he's been getting attention for a long time.
Oh, they are getting demolished on some of these opening fights. I mean, we've looked at Jedker's POV for a number of these entries, and yeah, it just looks so smooth the way he's aiming. He's not sort of like snapping angle to angle. He's on cruise control.
Banjo's been controlled out of the round. Wolfie, once again, unable to find anything. No openings, no real attempts made either, to be fair.
He even had the chance to scope in. I'm not so sure.
Don't know if he is either.
This will be a long save. Like you said, you know, you're highlighting the money on a number of the AGO players. They should be suspicious of the fact that, oh, this is the enemy team's AWPer, and he is alive somewhere. I want to take that out of his hands. Definitely feel for Wolfie not being able to have the AWP for the most of this game, and the round that he gets it, all of his team have been picked apart by just some of the quick entries from AGO.
At the same time, man, what's an AWPer who can't have his impact on the CT side, you know? There's stark contrast to what we saw from Snatchy in the first half, where he was single-handedly giving them, I think, 3 whole rounds, where he gets a big multi-kill openers as well. It's a such strong contest up against what was otherwise a pretty smooth entry pair from fnatic Rising as well. Let's not forget, Wolfie and Volt were doing some serious work even in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, Snatchy, just the presence that he had with how dynamic he was being between A and the B bomb site, very, very difficult to sort of match up against. Look, the pace is changing here for AGO, though. They're hoping that they can catch fnatic Rising out and maybe caught unaware, because AGO have been so slow-paced in previous rounds. They want to scale quick.
They've managed to do so. Both the A-side players have been trapped inside the lane. Now, this is where you have to be careful. The second the smoke starts to dissipate, Snatchy's going to make a move even if he's low. Volt trying to spam in behind it does some good damage, but Snatchy still yet to reveal himself. Will end up switching out with BHR. Maze goes and gets himself one fell and lines up 2 on his own. That's a team flash as well, keeping Volt blinded out. Snatchy now brought back to the side to try and cover off his low teammates. A smoked B lined up. And Jedka just trying to keep them away. BHR's been put in charge of the flank, and he is very happy to be calling himself up to task. 3 players very low. Banjo unlikely to even be able to train his crosshair on any of them.
Being given fights. Spammed off the angle and going to save. Furlan making sure this AWP is as far away as possible. Somebody else has to save it. He's too low HP. Gotta get some distance. So that's all that AGO are really concerned about. Banjo will be able to get a parting gift, but no rounds still for Fnatic Rising. AGO have kicked them down into the curve. 14 found for AGO. Fnatic Rising struggling on CT. These are the small things that certainly add up. Stress is rising with the comeback that AGO were able to pull off so far in this game, and to have, you know, small little team flash plays happen, to have the flurry of comms when they were probably very calm entering that round about what they wanted to do and how they were going to approach it. They had to change their plans very quickly with the pace, and AGO just want to keep on applying that pressure. They've recognized the wound and they want to make sure that it hurts here for Fnatic. Volt instantly dealt with from Furlan as well, scaling up, and Pepsor dinked down as well. The Molotov will finish 2, in fact, here for AGO, so it's equal in the trades regardless. And Maze has got a lot of territory over for A, so no resetting back to this A bomb site for AGO, not without its risk.
It's a risk they've been willing to bear many times over. I mean, how many 4v2s have we seen where they don't actually have information before committing to a bomb site itself? The problem is, obviously, this isn't a 4v2. Same number of total players, very different circumstances inside the round. One thing is for sure, AGO have always been comfortable slowing things down, but this might finally be the round where it comes back to bite them. Wolfie is right on the perfect angle to cover off PHR's lurk. They will not get aggressive the CT side, going for the heavy preference of just playing it as fast as can be. A lurk smoke down. Wolfie misses his shot, and PHR's done it all on his own. B-bomb site opened up for business. And that's not what you expect to see at all.
What a triple from PHR. They apply that pressure, they certainly do, but yeah, you're right, they slow things down so significantly, but you're not expecting it to go so well for PHR. Snappy on the double entry into that B-bomb site, and yeah, that's, if the wind was out of the sails of Fnatic Rising through most of the second half, that's really going to tear a hole straight through that sail. Dead in the water. AGO might just soar through here on our 51 floors. For one, in the early stages, Lamont wins his fight in middle, but Vol has found the pick he needs. Not seeing even the progress of Furlan, but again, it's back and forth trades. Another 3-on-3. Does this one slip out of Fnatic Rising's hands again? Is it ever even in their hands to begin with?
Doesn't look like on this half at the very least. It's just been problem after problem, and none of them, or rather none of the usual suspects there to try and pick up the pieces. Wolfie, Pepsor, both have just been silent in this half. Pepsor generally having a quiet game all across. Might change up this time over. Fnatic Rising will be the ones to get aggressive, but man, what a time to do it as well when Snatchy's just got an eye out for it. This is going to be all down to Maze, and as they start to swing into him, he's lost his duel before he even had a chance. Jedka's smooth entries will continue to prevail. AGO have practically blasted through Fnatic's map pick at this point. Even if the scoreline is close, the past few rounds sure as hell haven't been. Banjo peeks forward, good for the one, and if this is going to be how they do it, well, better get started.
1-on-2, and Jedka's not full HP. The dink onto Lamont as well could be lethal. Just giving a little bit more room finds an opportunity. Lamont offered up, but trade is instant there from Jedker, so AGO will be able to shut them out. Fnatic Rising struggling in that second half, but a massive comeback for the Polish squad to pull off on the T side as well. All those slow, methodical breakthroughs onto sites, and then all the entries they were getting, not only on Jedker, you know, PHR was having his influence, Furlan was having his round. Like, there seemed to be nothing they could do wrong in terms of the rifle entries they were getting on either bomb site. Fnatic Rising just not coming